Hey there, Jordan Sheridan, live from New York City. How's everybody doing today? Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see me. Let me know what you think of the status quo poster behind me. We still have some tinkering to do. It's not going to look like this permanently, but we wanted to get it up today for you. So let me know if you could hear me. Let me know if you could see me. And most importantly, let me know if you could stand me. That's the most important thing. Where is Ty? That's a great question. Where is Ty? Well, Ty has not slept in 3 days. Ty has not slept in 3 days. So Ty, can I? Maybe this, yeah, this will show it. Here's Ty. Right there. Can you see him? He's right in front of me. That is literally where Ty is as we speak. He hasn't slept in 3 days, so I didn't want to push him. He needs to sleep. So Ty, let me give you a little behind the scenes. Ty lives in Los Angeles. So he has been here the last few days. We're trying to get a program called Wirecast ready to go for you. It's a program where we could Skype in people live. It's a program where we could go live on Facebook, along with YouTube and Twitter, Periscope, excuse me. It's a program where we can do a lot of more advanced things than we can do in the program we're currently using. So he's been up pretty much overnight working on getting the kinks worked out, because we tried using it once and it was a complete disaster. There was some audio problems and visual problems or whatever. So Ty is getting his first night of sleep in a long time. He's also probably a little too hopped up on medicine, so that's difficult to sleep with because he's on meds for his neck pain and stuff like that. He's waiting for a surgery date, and we are discussing him moving out here, which would really, really help status quo, obviously. So, I mean, you see the upgrades all the time. We got a poster behind me. It's a little crooked. We're gonna get it fixed when Ty is up. I set this up myself today, so it's not as good as it would be if Ty set it up. But we had a very, very long day. Woke up at 5 a.m. Because we interviewed Congresswoman and presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard this morning at 7:30 in the morning. 7:30 in the morning, East Coast time, we spoke with Tulsi Gabbard. So that was a great interview. We're going to air it Sunday during our marathon. We didn't speak for as long as I would have liked to speak, but we probably spoke for like 22 to 25 minutes. I thought I was going to have more time with her. Here is Tulsi and I, Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard and I, with the status quo backdrop there. But, you know, as in everything, she's a presidential candidate, so she was late and then trying to get a flight to Iowa. So we only had about 20 minutes. I tried to get in as much topics as possible. We spoke about, you know, her being an Assad apologist and focus, you know, her visit President Assad of Syria in 2017. We spoke about her evolution on LGBT issues and, you know, homosexuality in general. We spoke about her views on torture, which she has had some controversial views on torture. We spoke about domestic issues. Most people know her for her foreign policy, but not a lot of people know she has a lot of fairly progressive domestic issues. And we spoke about some other things that I don't think she would have gotten asked about. Definitely not on CNN or in the corporate media. So that will be Sunday, noon Eastern time, right here on the channel. And we will post a little teaser clip tomorrow. I didn't want to wake Ty up. I was trying to get a teaser clip ready to go for today. But, as you could see, I mean, look at him. How could I wake that up? How could I wake the man up to try and get a clip for today? Got to let the man sleep. So we'll get a teaser clip to post tomorrow, but she had a lot of great things to say. It's always interesting because, obviously I don't want to just give her a softball interview, but since we only had 20 minutes, I didn't press back on certain things because I wanted to get more topics in. So, you'll be the judge what you think. Colin could have had me do the clip. We could have, but we would have had to send you the footage, and I did not want to wake up Ty because the computer was on Ty's lap. So this is what we are here at Status Coup. We're working. I was up probably till 2 in the morning, reading up and preparing for the interview with Congresswoman Gabbard, and then we woke up at 5 to go to the room that we booked for the interview, and then we interviewed her this morning. So we'll air that at noon Eastern time, and now start the campaign. What about Bernie? Come on, Senator Sanders. I know you like going on some other shows in the independent sphere, but we would love to have you on at Status Coup. So I look forward to Senator Sanders and interviewing him before I'm dead. It would be nice before I'm dead. So I'm not going to go super long today because we've had a long day. I got only one topic to talk about. But before we get to that, we have some housekeeping. Smash the like button. Smash it like it's the Democratic National Committee telling you to eat your broccoli and vote blue no matter who. Smash it like it's Dick Cheney interrupting your Thanksgiving dinner. Smash it like it's Donna Brazile telling you, you guys don't treat me well, which is what she said about me. Smash it like it's Kamala Harris saying I'm not a democratic socialist. Smash it like it's CNN pretending to be the most trusted name in news. Smash it like your life depends on it, because it does. If I'm keeping it real, folks, the suppression has been extremely bad lately, to the point where, there's channels with like half our subscribers getting 10, 15,000 views, and we're getting a couple hundred. It's absurd what YouTube is doing. So we really need you to help us. Part of that is liking the live stream. The more people that like the live stream in YouTube's algorithm, the more people that will see the live stream. We have gotten a little boost in membership to Status Coup. Definitely consider becoming a member to Status Coup. You can become a member to Status Coup as low as $5 a month. You could become a member at $10 a month, a member at $20 a month, a member at $147 annually. We just posted on statuscoup.com a member clip right before our Tulsi Gabbard interview where we showed you preparing for it. We put up some member clips just for members up on the site when we were in Detroit and Cleveland, covering the General Motors layoffs, covering the Cleveland lead crisis, covering the Detroit water crisis. So there are tons of member clips up at statuscoup.com. Go to statuscoup.com/join and become a member. This is how we grow long term. I know some people don't have even $5 a month to contribute. If that's you, we totally understand. Just share the content. If you can factor it into your budget, think about if you donate to Bernie Sanders, you look at it not as a luxury to have him in the White House, but a necessity. I humbly believe independent journalism, real independent journalism, not the bullshit independent journalism that, we're independent, let's talk about Trump 24/7 and Russia and clickbait and nonsense. But real independent journalism that gets out in the field, is aggressive, is raw, is authentic, and covers the things corporate media will not touch. I believe we need more of that. You can help us do it as low as $5 a month. statuscoup.com/join. Follow us at Status Coup on the Twitter. I'm at Jordan Sheridan on Twitter. This is an important one. really, really important one. Subscribe to our podcast. It's I'll put in the link on the live stream. You can subscribe to our podcast at let me just find the link for you. Hold on. Farewell. I've come to see you go. We need to get this podcast up on iTunes. So what you'll do is go to the podcast link, which I'm about to put in. And when you go, rate us 5 stars. After you rate us 5 stars, please, please, please be so kind to leave a review. The podcast is our live streams made into podcast. There's the link in iTunes. The podcast is our live streams, but also our interviews made into podcasts. So please, please, please go to our podcast page, click 5 stars, leave a review. That's how we'll move up in the rankings and be seen in the iTunes store by more people. This is another way we're going to grow. And very equally important, we got to grow our email list, folks. We got to grow our email list. Statuscoup.com. Statuscoup.com. You'll get a pop-up. Enter your email. I promise I won't spam you once or twice a week, occasionally 3 or 4 times a week if we're on the road. But that's how you grow a network. That's how you grow a company, through an email list and through paid membership. I am happy to say we now have 206 paid members at statuscoup.com/join. That is how we're going to grow. When you add that to Patreon, we have 528. So we got to keep on growing. Really, really, really consider becoming a member. Now is the time, because let me tell you something. If we don't have independent media on the campaign trail, don't expect much different than 2016. As I'm about to show you with the Washington Post, if you thought the corporate propaganda in 2016 was something, you ain't seen nothing yet. You ain't seen nothing yet. Not just against Bernie, but against Tulsi. Thank you, Aaron Rick Bride. $1.99 in the super chat. This is a super chat. And as a reminder, we are very, very aggressively trying to grow our GoFundMe. We are at $44,000. $44,497. Can we get to 45,000? Can we get to 45,000 by the end of this live stream? Do you believe in miracles? I do. Because I think we raised it to 70,000 because we want to cover the campaign, and it's not cheap to cover a campaign. I don't even know if $70,000 is going to be able to cover a full campaign, but it will help us cover some of it, and then we could try to get larger funding from there. So, if you don't mind, GoFundMe is preferred over Super Chat because YouTube, other than being corporate criminals in terms of suppression, is also taking 30% of our earnings. And lastly, I know this is a long one. Please, please, all 242 of you watching, start making it a daily habit. Go to statuscoup.com. We're posting videos at statuscoup.com, so you don't even have to worry about YouTube notifying you. This is another way we're going to get around YouTube suppression. Go to statuscoup.com. If you like sports, you might go to espn.com. If you like humor, you might go to, collegehumor.com. If you like adult entertainment, you might go to certain websites. If you like gardening, if you like Status Coup, if you want to see our videos after we publish them, if you want to become a member and then watch the members' content, the behind-the-scenes content, up on statuscoup.com. So make it a habit to go to statuscoup.com. Don't just wait for a notification that's probably not going to come because YouTube is suppressing us. So, with that said, did you think that Bernie Sanders, who raised $6 million in 24 hours, if Joe Biden raised $6 million in 24 hours, I presume that the Washington Post would be building a statue outside its office. I presume the Washington Post would be building a statue right outside their office if Joe Biden raised $6 million in 24 hours. If he raised $6 million in a week, they'd build a statue. Kamala Harris, oh my God, can you imagine if Kamala Harris raised $6 million in 24 hours? They'd be calling the election. Hey, Hank, stop spreading the rumors. I've never gotten a no, Bernie will never talk to me. I just haven't gotten a yes. So I've gotten a no answer, shall I say. I've gotten a no answer. But we'll work on it. I think I could get Senator Sanders. If we have the funding, by the way. If we have the funding to cover his campaign, it's a lot easier to get an interview with a candidate when you're consistently on the road covering his campaign. So help me do it. Statusquo.com/join. Go fund me. And volunteer Michael Cupa is nice enough to put those links in the super chat. But Bernie Sanders, raises $6 million. I think he raised it from what did he have? 200 something thousand people donated to him. And literally the Washington Post had 4 negative stories within 48 hours, I think this time. 48 hours. So, I'm not going to read you the whole thing. And to tell you the truth, I didn't even read the whole thing yet. I only read 2 of them. So I'm going to read along with you. So, Bernie Sanders, he raises $6 million in 24 hours. Headline, Bernie Sanders is no big deal second time around. I mean, you just can't make this shit up. And I'm not even going to call it the Washington Post anymore. I'm going to call it the Amazon Post, because that's what this is. This is Jeff Bezos' little love child. And Jeff Bezos, don't think he's, loving. Don't think Jeff Bezos is feeling the burn, folks. Yeah, he raised Amazon's minimum wage to $15, but don't think he doesn't have, a bullseye with Bernie Sanders' face on it, on top of his gold toilet and cascading riverfall in his apartment, in his, one of his many mansions. So this Washington Post writer, Jennifer Rubin, a huge neocon, by the way, writes, Senator Bernie Sanders formally announced his campaign, surprising a few political watchers. He sounded like the left-wing version of blow up the system in his email to supporters. Unfortunately for Sanders, nothing he says these days sounds all that revolutionary, given the loud and enthusiastic progressive wing of the party and other candidates saying pretty much the same thing. He cites healthcare, although other contenders have braced Medicare for all. He points to climate change, but a number of Democratic candidates for president have already signed onto the Green New Deal. He wants to stop demonization of immigrants, but Beto O'Rourke, who is reportedly still mulling a presidential run, and others have been saying that for months. Free college tuition? Yawn. We've seen that proposal. Oh, yawn. In short, Sanders is offering a little different from many younger, less cranky Democrats, including non-white candidates who haven't struggled to win over African Americans and women, and who haven't had to explain complaints of sexual harassment in their campaigns. Oh boy. So where do I even start with that? Because this isn't just unique to the Washington Post. This is actually becoming one of the talking points that you see on CNN. I've seen it on MSNBC. I've seen it in the New York Times. I've seen it in the Washington Post. I've seen it. And that is, well, is Bernie, a victim? Is he a victim of his own success? Honestly, Jordan, you were great on your own. Ty, once in a while on camera's okay, but his talents are more camera work, right? Well, Mitch, now. First of all, had a little conversation with Ty. He will no longer, by viewer request, he will no longer be smoking his vape pen on air, because it is unprofessional. We're pretty laid back here. This isn't 60 Minutes, but we're not going to smoke vape pens live on the air. So we agree on that. But no, I think Ty, I don't know why you would say that. Everybody, I don't want status quo to just be me. There's enough of me. We want Ty on air. We want to get his voice. We want to get his perspective. We want to get his reporting. In the future, we want him to report. Just like if we have the funding, we're going to hire other reporters. So no, we're definitely going to have Ty on. Obviously everybody has a choice who they want to watch. So if you want to watch Ty, great. If you don't. But I say, I wasn't right out of the gate. I wasn't right out of the gate like what I am now. There's a few hiccups as you go. So give Ty a break, lovingly. Ty Derp, $2 in the super chat. You ever hear about Cooperation Jackson? I have not. Email Jordan at protonmail.com. That's email Jordan at protonmail.com. And let me know what you're talking about. So, I love this. This would be like if you follow basketball, like LeBron James, who's the best player in the NBA. This would be like, all right, LeBron James came in and revolutionized modern day basketball, playing with a certain style And as such, other players came in and are playing that way too. So maybe LeBron James should just retire because, well, there's other players playing like LeBron James. Look at that. Well, why would we want LeBron James, the original OG, to retire? Because other people came in playing a similar way? That makes no sense. If you're following me. If you're not, let me repeat it. So, Matty Perry, $4.99 in the super chat. Bernie seems more aggressive this time around, and rightfully so. He better be. I mean, not that Bernie's listening to me, but that's what I've been saying. No more going to a knife fight holding a spoon. And I really, really like his campaign hires so far, which I'm going to get to in a few minutes. So, and by the way, not deterring you from super chat contributions, but we do appreciate GoFundMe over super chat just because YouTube are a bunch of criminals and they take 30%. So if you leave a GoFundMe contribution, you could leave a comment. It's the same thing as super chat. I'll read your comment if you donate to GoFundMe. But this notion that, well, Kamala Harris says she's Medicare for all, so who needs Bernie? And Cory Booker says he's for Medicare for all, so who needs Bernie? And Kirsten Gillibrand says he's for Medicare for all, so who needs Bernie? Yeah, well, Donald Trump said in an interview he was for covering everybody. Remember? He said, I'm for covering everybody. It's not going to be popular in the Republican Party. Is Donald Trump pushing Medicare for all? Hillary Clinton said she was for a lot of things. And very quickly moved away from those things after she became the Democratic nominee. Hillary Clinton flip-flopped all over the place as a politician for 20 years. Mitt Romney said he was for a lot of things that he previously wasn't. So am I supposed to believe Jennifer Rubin at the Washington Post and CNN and MSNBC and all these people who are deranged? I mean, it is such an intellectually dishonest take to respond to Bernie Sanders launching his campaign, making record fundraising numbers in one day. Nobody has ever raised that much money in one day. And your response is, oh, he's not going to be so great the second time around. Oh, he's not really needed because all these other people are saying what his policies. Keyword, saying they are for these things. But, Miss Rubin and all these people, well, Kamala Harris, within 24 hours, moonwalked the hell away from Medicare for all. And frankly, if I'm keeping it real, Elizabeth Warren says she's for Medicare for all. I don't really hear her talking about it much on the campaign trail. When she was asked about it by a reporter recently, she didn't really elaborate. Bernie Sanders leads with Medicare for all. Kirsten Gillibrand, oh, suddenly she's for Medicare for all? Well, look at her record. Look at her donors. She's been dialing Wall Street people right before she announced she was running to see if they'll fund her campaign. You think she's really going to push for Medicare for all? So, these people at Washington Post, and they're not journalists, they're just hacks, and CNN and all these people, they pretend that just because a candidate says they're for something, that we should just totally push away our critical thinking skills and just take them on faith. Hillary Clinton says, I'm a progressive who gets things done. Done. Can we elect her? Maybe part of the problem in this corrupt political system we have is we've taken politicians at their word during the campaign and then kept on reelecting them when they didn't even fight for the things we want. It's unbelievable. You don't have to be for Bernie Sanders, but at least give him his due. Jesus, the Washington Post. You have no credibility. And you have a $600 million contract with the CIA. And you have a rather large contract with the Pentagon. Did you know Jeff Bezos is on a board at the Pentagon? Did you know this? Reeve Barker, I did not watch Elizabeth Warren's interview on TYT, so I cannot comment on that. I didn't see it. Missed that. But we'll try to get Warren too, for sure. So that was number one. That was the first hit piece on Bernie Sanders. You can't even, he raised $6 million, but, second time around, who needs him? And by the way, folks, we have 302 people watching, but only 177 likes. So what are you doing? Thank you, Matty Perry. I'm not trying to reprimand people for Super Chat. Whatever way you want to do it is fine. I'm just letting you know, if your goal is to give status quo support, YouTube takes 30% of that support. it's really criminal. So, anyway, Michael, if you don't mind, pop in the GoFundMe in from time to time and membership link. That would be great. But the same writer, literally within 24 hours, the same writer, Jennifer Rubin. Oh, she wasn't stopping at that. She wasn't stopping at that one. Why Sanders' money haul doesn't mean very much. Oh, but Jesus. Oh, my God. You can't make this shit up, folks. You can't make it up. By the way, this is the same one who just said, Bernie won't be shit second time around. Ooh, demonetized. Senator Bernie Sanders raised approximately $6 million in the first 24 hours after his presidential campaign announcement, but his Democratic opponents shouldn't be surprised or even concerned. Sanders is the only Democratic contender for 2020 who ran for president in 2016, during which he raised about $230 million. For someone with nearly universal name recognition, an extensive donor list, and a long run-up to his announcement, Sanders' haul shouldn't impress knowledgeable political watchers. Should Joe Biden announce, I would bet his 24-hour fundraising total will dwarf Sanders' total. A former vice president shouldn't have to lift a finger to trigger a flood of money. Oh my God, I can't even read it anymore because there's so much bullshit there. It's permeating out of the Washington Post chimney. If the Washington Post has a chimney, I don't know about that. Thank you, Amanda, $4.99 in the super chat. Have you heard about Marianne Williamson running for president? I haven't heard any progressive media cover her, and she had a very unique perspective. Not only have I heard about Marianne Williamson, Amanda, I have put in an interview request already. And I have put in an interview request with Mr. Andrew Yang. So as the viewers ask, I deliver. I have not heard back yet, Amanda. But I will be interviewing Marianne Williamson. I will be interviewing Andrew Yang and other candidates as they come. We believe every credible candidate should have a voice. And when I say credible, non-batshit crazy. No fascists. I don't want to interview a fascist. YouTube taking 30% is like a loan shark on a payday loan scam. Oh, isn't it? It's terrible. So let's get this straight, okay? Let's get this straight. And I actually agree, Jank at the Young Turks, I agree with this analysis. The corporate media, they deem candidates credible based on how much money they could raise. So in general, if Joe Biden would have raised $6 million in 24 hours, the Washington Post's same Jennifer Rubin, who wrote 2 hit pieces on Bernie Sanders within 24 hours, would have been saying to call the election because obviously the people have spoken. Vice President Biden is going to win the nomination and fight to reinstate the Obama coalition and the Obama legacy. You would have gotten the same exact response if Cory Booker raised $6 million. You would have got the same exact response if Beto O'Rourke raised $6 million. You certainly would have gotten the same exact response if Kamala Harris raised $6 million. Oh my God, if Kamala Harris raised $6 million, they would have said, forget canceling the Democratic primary. Just cancel the election and put her in the White House, they would have said. So the corporate media always, yes, YouTube, I will forgive you for criminal corruption and criminal scamming. Hold on, my father's calling me and he wants to have dinner with me. Hi, Dad, I'm live. Bye-bye. The standard has always been, they're raising a lot of money, so that's the front runner. But when Bernie Sanders raises do you know how hard it is? I could tell you because I'm doing it. Do you know how hard it is to raise any money in media, in politics? Do you know how hard it is to convince, let's say, 100 people to donate? Do you know how hard it is to convince 1,000 people to donate? I've been literally breaking my back to convince people to sign up at $5 a month and $10 a month, or $20 a month, or $147 annually, statuscoup.com/join. It's very hard. And Bernie Sanders obviously has a way, way bigger email list than I do. And obviously it's a different category, politics, media. But the point is, it is very, very hard in anything, politics, media, sports, entertainment, to fundraise. If any establishment-friendly candidate, if any pro-status coup candidate, if any Johnny-come-lately progressive, and that means Kamala Harris is a Johnny-come-lately progressive, Cory Booker is a Johnny-come-lately progressive. Kirsten Gillibrand is a Johnny-come-lately progressive. Julian Castro is a Johnny-come-lately progressive. If any... That's true, I did just get my back fixed. I actually got to go to my uncle, who's a podiatrist, because my foot is still half numb a year after surgery, so I hope I don't have permanent nerve damage in my foot. Anyway, if any faux progressive, I would call them, because these people aren't. These people aren't like real progressives. And you want to say, oh, Jordan, stop with the purity. Well, how do I know that Kamala Harris is going to fight on day one as hard as Bernie Sanders would for Medicare for all? She wasn't fighting for it or even speaking about it when she was running for California senator. She wasn't speaking about Medicare for all. And at that time, when she was running for California Senate, it was, for California senator, it was up for a possibility. California single payer was up in the California House of Representatives. It passed the California House. It was blocked in the passed the California Senate, was blocked in the California House. Kamala Harris was crickets when she ran for California Senate. But all of a sudden, Kamala Harris, very, very big Medicare for all proponent. Come on, folks. Thank you. We got Patrick Coyne, $27 in the GoFundMe, which brings us to $44,524. Do you believe in miracles? Do you have a couple dollars left over after your Bernie donation or your Tulsi donation? Can we get to $45,000 by the end of this live stream? I think we could do it, folks. And I'm showing you what we're doing with it. I mean, we spent quite a lot of money to set up. We bought another camera for this Tulsi Gabbard interview today. We also booked a room because I didn't exactly think it's kind of like appropriate to bring a presidential candidate to my apartment. So we booked a room, which wasn't cheap either, to interview Congresswoman Gabbard. But it's so amazing how they move the goalpost, because if it was any other candidate that's essentially, wink, wink, I'm for Medicare for all, but like still dialing Wall Street, and, that's what they do. They pretend to be for certain things, but, they also give a wink, wink to the establishment, the status quo, the special interest that, I'm not really going to do these things. This is just talk to get elected. You know that. So it was always the gold standard. Whoever raises the most money is the front runner. But Bernie Sanders, well, why Sanders? Why Sanders money haul doesn't really mean anything. And they say RT is state-run media. The Washington Post is an embarrassment. More to the point, fundraising totals, I would argue, have as much predictive value as, say, poll numbers nearly a year before the Iowa caucus. Ask Ron Paul, $40 million raised in 2012, 0 primary victories. Or Jeb Bush, $155 million raised. Ask Hillary Clinton, whose fundraising prowess in 2008 didn't secure the nomination, and in 2016 struggled to defeat Sanders before losing to Donald Trump. In the general election, Clinton raised about $250,000 more than Trump. Money only gets you so far, and in some instances conveys an unwarranted front-runner status that contributes to the perception of underperformance if the candidate doesn't win in early states. You know what I hate more than anything? More than anything? Intellectual dishonesty. And by the way, folks, we got 329 people watching, only 236 likes, so 100 of you are asleep at the switch and need to wake the F up and press that like button. More people that press the like button, more people that see the live stream. It's a beautiful thing. Like, even if you dislike me. But what's so interesting there is they're equating Bernie Sanders raising $6 million at an average of $27. It was, again, $27 average his first day. They're equating it to Jeb Bush. What was the smallest donor to Jeb Bush? $1,000? Hillary Clinton didn't raise small dollar donations. She was getting money from oligarchs, plutocrats, fossil fuel execs, bankers, pharmaceutical executives, Silicon Valley, cable news executives. She wasn't getting a lot of small dollar donations. So this Washington Post hack is basically comparing a grassroots small dollar fundraising army, which actually does indicate electoral success, because you have actual numbers in the grassroots, not the plutocrats. There's more, Bernie is right, there is more there's more of us than there are of them. They just have more money, but we have more people. But what's amazing is she's equating Bernie raising $6 billion from actual people to Hillary Clinton raising money from big bankers, big fossil fuel, big pharma, and Jeb Bush. Please, oh my God! When I was at the Young Turks, I went to cover a Jeb Bush town hall in New Hampshire. Oh my God! It reeked of old money. He didn't. Oh my God! There were people there with so much money, and I'm not trying to be judgmental, but you could tell when people have money. And this town hall, they had a lot of money. These people. These were not struggling Americans in New Hampshire. If you remember, I confronted Jeb Bush there. He said, "Wait, are you a reporter?" Because I challenged him. Inside educators, corporations are people too. Yes. So I'm not even going to read the rest of that Washington Post story because it's so ridiculous. What's the point of even reading it? His money haul doesn't mean anything. And to those of you who came late to this live stream, public service announcement, we will have an interview with Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard airing Sunday at noon Eastern time on our Sunday marathon. You know how we do it. Sunday, noon Eastern, marathon live stream. GoFundMe/new member marathon. So we're trying to grow more members, statuscoup.com/join, and grow our GoFundMe. So we will have Tulsi Gabbard, who was nice enough to speak with me this morning. I think she is going to get on that debate stage. I really do. I think there's some issues that are a little concerning with her, and I asked her about it. And I will tell you my thoughts on the interview. She seemed genuine. I'm pretty good at sniffing out bullshit and politicians that are being politically expedient and changing their views on the fly. She seemed genuine. Invictus, I hope it wasn't a softball interview. You know what, Invictus? I didn't like rake her over the coals like, say, Adana Brazil, but I did push back on two or three things. Honestly, the problem was not like being soft versus hard. The problem was I only had 20 minutes. I thought I was going to have 40 minutes, but a lot of presidential candidates and politicians show up late. She was running around doing a lot of things, so she showed up later than I thought. So I only had 20 minutes. So you kind of, as an interview, have to decide, do I want to push back here or do I want to get other topics in? So I'll let you be the judge. I think it was a good interview. I do. And I think I asked her a lot of things that will never, ever come up on CNN, The View, which was a joke with her the other day. So, noon Eastern time, be there. And you don't have to wait. You don't have to wait. Do not have to wait. For Sunday, you can become a member right now. statuscoup.com/join or GoFundMe. Maybe both. We'll see. So, that's not it. Bernie Sanders, your moment has come and gone, says the Washington Post, on the day that he raises $6 million and breaks all sorts of campaign fundraising. A certain announcement this week reminded me that for a brief happy time, quite a few years ago, my wife and I rented an apartment in Washington's Grand Kalorama neighborhood. With its high ceilings, wide staircase, and gleaming wood floors, our building evoked its origins in the heady days of a brand new American empire, an emerging global force, an awakening industrial giant. Yet there was a creeping shabbiness to the place that made it affordable for the likes of us. Think of it as a museum of lost grandeur, populated mostly by formerly important people. This guy, I don't even know what the fuck he's talking about, but it's already ridiculous. This small but distinctive slice of the capital's demography finds its lives of power and purpose whittled to the scale of a pension and gravitates to such buildings. Accustomed to congressional suites or the large offices of undersecretaries, the FIPs require big walls to hold all their photographs and younger selves in historic company. They need ample space to display little gifts received as tokens of gratitude from nations that no longer exist. In the overheated entry, I occasionally encountered a brusque little man in his 80s at the mailboxes. He had a shock of white hair and the air of a person who expected to be recognized, if only so that he could be annoyed at the intrusion. Oh, so here we're going to compare Bernie Sanders to an 80-year-old sitting by the mailbox. Or perhaps our third encounter, when I glimpsed more than the back of his head, it hit me. Eugene McCarthy. I murmured, "Hello, Senator," and he grumbled something in return. Not 30 years earlier, this same man had occupied the electrified heart of buzzing, sparking madness in U.S. politics. It was 1968. There was a giant in the White House, Lyndon B. Johnson, who found himself there by fate in an electoral landslide. This giant was weakened by the wound of Vietnam, but no one knew how weak and wounded giants can be dangerous indeed. No one, it seemed, had the guts to test him. I'm going to bounce around here. And these McCarthy memories came rushing up when Bernie Sanders announced Tuesday that he's running for president again. It seems Sanders is making the same mistake McCarthy made as he returned time and again to the presidential well. 72, 76, 88, 92. Both men were improbable candidates whose willingness to challenge a giant paid off in a transient flash of glory. But Sanders appears no more aware than McCarthy that the moment doesn't last. History will not be hoodwinked by the thin excuses Hillary Clinton supporters make for her disastrous loss in 2016. Only a terrible candidate could have managed to lose to Donald Trump. For all the headings on her resume, Clinton had already demonstrated this weakness by losing to an inexperienced Barack Obama in 2008. So why exactly is Bernie Sanders not going to become president? Sanders filled the anti-Hillary vacuum in 2016, and like the vacuum McCarthy filled in early 1968, this was a fleeting opportunity seized and then gone. For a moment, it took Sanders to the heart of a buzzing, sparking madness. So here we have the ageist argument. Well, you know, he's just that 80-year-old standing by the post office. Folks, this is the Washington Post, and this is an outlet that is viewed as one of the leading news organizations, not just in America, in the world. This is what you're getting from one of the self-acclaimed leading news organizations in the world. Pieces that claim raising $6 million in a day means nothing. Pieces that claim that Bernie Sanders is no different than 80-year-olds standing at a mailbox, well past their time but don't know it. Let me tell you something. If I took a poll on Twitter, I wouldn't do this because it's insensitive, to Bernie Sanders supporters, and I say, what would you prefer? Bernie Sanders as president while on a dialysis machine for the most part? I don't wish that upon him, obviously. Bernie Sanders as president on a dialysis machine, in a wheelchair, sleeping 12 hours a night, only able to be president for 3 years? Or Kamala Harris as president? What would you want? Probably most of you would actually even suggest Bernie Sanders half dead. Bernie Sanders dead, with his spirit in the White House. If they didn't realize, if it didn't show you in 2016 that the majority of his voters don't care how old he is. He wasn't some young spring chicken in 2016. Yes, he's older. Yes, he would be the oldest president in the White House if he became president. Henry, I'd take Bernie in a coma. So, what is it specifically about his support in 2016 from large amounts of young people, and frankly, a lot of older people also didn't mind his age? Why is it that now he's too old, 3 years later? Why is it that it's not considered, well, he has already said he would have a vice president considerably younger than him? Why is it that it's never mentioned Donald Trump, I think, is 73? Why is it mentioned? Why is it never mentioned in the stories about Joe Biden? I never see in stories about Joe Biden his age. Very rarely. It's a good question, Joe. To my knowledge, Ocasio-Cortez has not endorsed Bernie yet. Today, Ro Khanna endorsed Bernie by signing on as one of his campaign co-chairs. Let me show you that. Bernie Sanders announced that Ro Khanna, Nina Turner, Ben from Ben and Jerry, which, hey, Ben, I'm talking to you, Ben, would love to have some sponsorship from Ben and Jerry's for Status Coup. And Carmen Yulin Cruz will be campaign chairs. To defeat Trump, we must build a team prepared to fight for economic, social, racial, and environmental justice. That's exactly what Nina Turner, Ro Khanna, Carmen Yulin Cruz, and Ben Cohen have been doing their entire lives. I'm excited to announce them as campaign co-chairs. And this is after he named Faiz Shakir, let me see, Faiz Shakir as his campaign manager. Faiz is the first Muslim American to run a presidential campaign. He was national political director for the ACLU. He did work previously for Nancy Pelosi and at Harry Reid's office. So that's interesting. I can't say I love that, but at the same time, from everything I've read and everything I've seen from other progressives who I like their judgment, this guy is a progressive, and this guy is also somebody who not only knows how to elevate grassroots organizing, but also knows how to win elections. Also knows how to actually straddle two lines, getting the grassroots enthused, but also convincing the establishment Bernie is the best choice. So I think Faiz is a good choice. I'll have to look into him more. I hope to interview him. I don't automatically say you're disqualified because you worked for two objectionable politicians. A lot of people who work for politicians are more progressive than the politicians they work for, but you need a job in Washington, and there's only a few progressive politicians. So I'm not going to knock him crazy for working for Harry Reid and Nancy Pelosi, but when I have more time, I'm going to look more into his backstory. But it's just amazing to me that the Washington Post gets away with this. It's amazing to me that they don't even disclose that their owner basically had it out with Bernie Sanders for 6 months. It's amazing and troubling. So I'm not even going to bother reading the last Washington Post piece because you get the point. But it's the Washington Post. Politico has started up with their own hit pieces. New York Times wasn't as bad as I thought they were going to be. CNN and MSNBC are basically pushing this same narrative. Well, look at all these other progressives now in. Is Bernie a victim of his own success? Well, you know what? Do you want the OG or do you want the knockoff? You want the original or do you want the one pretending to be the original? This is the grasping at straws. They're grasping at straws at this point. And by the way, as I told Ty in our live stream, who by the way is still sleeping, if the first time Kamala Harris is polling better, the first time that Kamala Harris is polling better than Bernie Sanders, you're going to start hearing the chorus, he's blocking the first possible woman president. He's blocking a black woman. I mean, let's call it what it is. This is what they're going to say. Bernie needs to step aside because he's blocking history. Ooh, Patrick Scarpati, $49 in the GoFundMe. Corey Savignano, $27 in the GoFundMe, putting us at $44,600. Oh, $400 away. $400 from $45,000. Hey, Tulsi Gabbard interview, airing Sunday. Hope you appreciate real reporting. We just got back from Detroit and Cleveland and Lordstown, Ohio. Cover the only national news on the ground to covering General Motors' heinous, evil, greedy layoffs. And we were the only national news to cover Cleveland. Do you know Cleveland has 92 children were found with high lead levels in a month? 92 children, mostly black, were found with high lead levels in Cleveland. Not a national emergency. The border wall's a national emergency. Russia's a national emergency. Not the kids in Cleveland. Not Flint. Not East Chicago. Not Milwaukee. Not Pittsburgh. Imaginary caravans and Russia are the national emergency. Kids in Cleveland, tough shit. Eat your lead poison water. We're not covering it. So I appreciate it. Keep the GoFundMe coming. This is how we go out into the field. And as I've said, there are some news organizations that like to talk. There are some news organizations that say, become a member, support us, we're fundraising, we'll go do X, Y, and Z. And then quietly, they don't do any of those things. We are showing you what we're going to do. We are walking the walk, not talking the talk. And Ty and I are ready to go back in the field as soon as we're funded. And the more funding we get, both as membership and GoFundMe, specifically membership, the more funding we get as members, statuscoup.com/join, you could do it as low as $5 a month. That is very attractive to people we are trying to get larger funding from. And I want to make something crystal clear. And I'm looking into the camera. Please record this video and call me out if I ever change, but it ain't going to happen. We are looking for larger funding. We are not going to take larger funding from plutocrats giving Trump money, plutocrats who gave Clinton money, plutocrats giving Kamala Harris money, plutocrats giving the fossil fuel industry money, plutocrats giving the pharmaceutical companies money, plutocrats giving the banks money, plutocrats giving Silicon Valley money. Hell to the no. And by the way, wouldn't you like to know, I did have an offer from one plutocrat in particular, a male plutocrat, to fund this whole operation here. And this individual offered quite a lot of money. Quite a lot of money to the point where not only would we have enough funding to travel nonstop, not only would I have a very nice salary, not only would Ty have a nice salary, and we'd have plenty of money to go around. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm human. I thought about it for 2 seconds. And then I politely told him to go on his way. Because to tell you the truth, is it really worth it if they don't share your values? Is it really worth it if they're not as excited about you at making the establishment and the status quo's life a living hell? Is it really worth it to take the money if they are not there to lift you, but they are there to control you? And I could not get this person to sign on the dotted line to have zero editorial control. And when I could not get this person to sign on the line to have zero editorial control, I peaced out. So what that means, I'm either really, really, really stupid or I have some integrity. And I think it's the latter. And unfortunately, because I have integrity, that means I'm working 7 days a week. That means I'm not getting a lot of sleep. But we are growing this ground up. We just passed 200 members. We're trying to get as far as we can. So statuscoup.com/join. I'm not telling you not to donate to other independent media. I'm not telling you not to support others. I'm telling you, if you want actual, real independent in the field coverage on the campaign trail, if you want Tulsi Gabbard's voice and issues and policies to see the light of day, if you want Bernie Sanders not to have pretty much no coverage, because I got news for you, love you Democracy Now!, love you The Intercept, I love these outlets, they're not going to be on the campaign trail for the full campaign. They weren't in 2016. I don't think that's going to change. If you want to just rely on the Young Turks, be my guest. I don't even know if they'll be on the campaign trail for the full time. Mike S., you're damn right I got to keep my soul. Mike Spicer, no, it was not Cenk. It was not Cenk. We don't particularly talk these days. But I'm not going to blow up his spot because the offer was kind, but it was somebody that I find to be problematic. Let's leave it at that. So, Kelly, you're right, Jordan. The first check would be without strings. Once you build it, next checks will definitely be with strings. I couldn't agree more. And here's the thing. Here's where companies and media companies get in trouble. When media companies start having success, what they try to do right away is expand, and blow it up. And when you try to expand, and blow it up, you hire a whole lot more people. And that's good. You could hire more people. But the problem with that is then you start listening to more people about what you should be doing instead of listening to yourself and the very concept and the very integrity and the very concepts that got you there in the first place. I've seen this at certain organizations that I've worked for, where you get bigger, but you stop doing what got you to that place in the first place to try 20 other things, and a lot of those 20 other things are very polar opposite of the core DNA of what made you blow up in the first place. So, not interested. Not interested. J3 Oblivion, cover the important stuff that will make a difference. As kindly as I could say, I think we are. I think we are. And unfortunately, YouTube is suppressing us, so you might have not seen all our videos from our last reporting trip last week. We still have a few more videos to publish. That's why I'm telling you to get in the habit of going to statuscoup.com every single day. Don't go once, don't go twice, go as much as you can, because I'm uploading videos there too, so you don't have to depend on YouTube to notify you. Just get in the habit of going to statuscoup.com, and while you're there, enter your email. We need to grow our email list, and also, you can become a member as low as $5 a month. You get great behind-the-scenes content. You get a monthly video call with us for, oh no, that's $10. You get behind-the-scenes content when we're in the field. You're going to get extra documentary footage. Ty is almost finished with this documentary. And most importantly, you're actually supporting real independent media. What could be better? As you say, Jordan, keeping it real. I try. And let me tell you something. I'm a human. It's not easy to turn down a lot of money. It's not easy to have money facing you and be like, holy cow, I could actually get out in the field like big time. I could actually hire other reporters. It's not an easy thing to turn that down, but it's also a hard thing to have to be indebted to individuals not aligned with your values. So I'm not interested in that. But to wrap this up tonight, Devin, hey Jordan, I think Status Coup's content is amazing, but why does it seem that your subs and views have stagnated? Oh, Devin, isn't that a great, great question, Devin? I'll tell you why my views have and subscribers have stagnated. It's a little thing called FewTube. Have you heard of FewTube? It's the alter ego of the outlet formerly known as YouTube. YouTube is suppressing this channel, and I'll tell you how they do it. YouTube, when I publish a new video, it does not go to all 20 we're almost at 28,000. So let's just round it. It does not go to all 28,000 subscribers who have subscribed to this channel. It does not go to their feed. You're damn right, Colin. Don't ask me about YouTube. I'll go on for 3 hours. It does not go to their feeds. So that's number one thing. If you are a subscriber to a YouTube channel, you have a subscriber feed. So the channels you subscribe to, you should be seeing their latest videos in your feed. Our feed does not get, our videos do not even get seen in the majority of our subscribers' feeds. That's number one. Number two, YouTube is not notifying, I'd say, 3/4 of our subscribers when we are live or when we have published a new video. Most people come just because I've really tried to drill it in your head, 5 o'clock Eastern, Monday through Friday. 5 o'clock Eastern, Monday through Friday. 5 o'clock Eastern, Monday through Friday. And noon Eastern on Sunday. So if you're not, I'm not knocking other smaller channels, but there are smaller channels than us. I just looked at a channel with 15,000 subscribers, and they're getting like thousands more views than us. And we're talking about the same exact thing. That makes no sense. And I'm not knocking them. Great for them. Not a knock on them at all. But it doesn't make sense. When you have more subscribers, you are supposed to get more views. That's how it works when you're not being suppressed. Mike S., I have to find it in the Status Coup channel. So long term, you got to crawl before you could work. We're basically doing this with like 3 people. But long term, we actually are not going to be relying on YouTube. We are going to be going live on our channel. On our website, and we're going to be going live in other places because, frankly, it's not just YouTube. Facebook is suppressing the hell out of us. You got YouTube is suppressing the hell out of us. Who knows about Instagram? Ty just started to try and grow our Instagram. So if you're on Instagram, follow the Status Coup's Instagram. If you don't, I don't even have the link. Michael, could you find the link to Status Coup's Instagram? Follow Status Coup on Instagram. We're posting little short videos there too. But yeah, that's why it seems like it's stagnating. ND football. Dude, you need to get a job and stop burning weed. You could make a life for yourself, but you have to try. You talking to me? I haven't burned weed in quite some time. And this is my job, so go fuck yourself. All progressives are being suppressed. Oh, you know what's interesting? I don't want to get into details because this was after our interview, but I think Tulsi Gabbard is experiencing the same exact thing that we are on her social channels. I think Tulsi Gabbard, I don't want to like reveal what we talked about, but we talked about a few things. And one of the topics was she is experiencing the same suppression that we're experiencing. Kelly Elaine, my favorite, donates every day. And I do read your emails, Kelly, so keep them coming. What about Nina Turner? What about Nina Turner? I love Nina Turner. She's my preferred choice for vice president. I love Tulsi Gabbard too, but you put a gun to my head, I want Nina Turner as vice president. I would love Tulsi Gabbard as Secretary of Defense, personally. Listen, if Tulsi Gabbard was the if Bernie Sanders for whatever reason didn't make it, I would take Tulsi Gabbard in a second. My preferred choice is Bernie number one, Tulsi number two. That's my preference. I don't tell viewers how to vote. So if your preference is Tulsi first, whatever. I know my friend Jimmy's preference is Tulsi first, followed by Bernie. So that's his preference. I get the feeling the interview is for future access. Oh, Invictus. No, not particularly. I will say, I wouldn't expect. So I was talking to Ty about this earlier. Like, I don't force myself to push back on people if I don't think there's anything to push back on. I think it's, you don't want to just to say like, hey, I'm equally tough on everybody. Like, have contrived, forced pushback just to say I'm tough on everybody. Like, for example, I'll tell you, I challenged her on her LGBT issue. Obviously, she made some very, very, frankly, horrible comments and had some very horrible stances years ago. So I asked her about it, and then I asked the follow-up. I thought her answer was good. So I could have pushed back a third time, but it's like, if you think someone's being genuine, if I have no other information to push back on, like her voting record has been incredibly good on LGBT issues. So it's like, I'm not going to just challenge someone just to say, hey, look, I'm equally as tough on Tulsi Gabbard than I am on Donna Brazile. They're not the same person. One is corrupt and a liar, and one has integrity. You know what I mean? So, also, I only had 20 minutes, so it was very difficult to really push back on a lot of different things. But I think, listen, I did challenge her on some things, and I think the interview was fair, but also brought up a few things that haven't been brought up before. So you'll be the judge. Hey, so many trollers today. I love the trolls. That means our channel is growing. And let's see where we're at right now. We are at 27,931 subscribers. So we're inching ever closer to 28,000 subscribers. By the way, March is our 1-year anniversary. March is Status Coup's 1-year anniversary. So we're going to have a humongous party. I want all the OGs there on our 1-year anniversary. I want all the early subscribers. Oh, all subscribers, but I definitely want the people that were there early because I remember who came to the party first. I want everybody at the party, but I remember who signed on first. Because when I came back in March 2018, let me tell you something. I was a wounded individual. I was certainly not as strong as I am now. And people that believe in truth, people who looked into certain things that were said about me, people who did their research, and people who said, you know what? I want real journalism and had faith in me. I really, really appreciate those people, and I want you there for our 1 year. Darth Corey just followed Status Coup on Instagram. Not much content there, but at least they're finally on social media. I have an account on. I know, we got to beef up our content there. That's the problem, Every day I'm posting to YouTube. Then I got to post a video on Twitter. Then I got to post a video on the website. Then I got to post a video on Facebook. By the time I get to Instagram, I need a sandwich and a nap. And yes, Tulsi needs 65,000 individual donors to make it to the debate stage. It's not about the money. $1 would suffice. That is correct. Kelly Elaine, is Jen doing okay? Kelly, that's a good question. I don't want to talk about somebody's personal business on air. Obviously, Jen talked about some things she was dealing with to you a couple of weeks ago. So, but I don't want to talk about somebody's personal business, without that person here. But I will say I'm in contact with Jen. and she is working on some things. So that's really all I could say. To be clear, there's nothing sinister going on. Jen was telling the audience a couple weeks ago that she was struggling with a few things, and she's working on that. So I hope you could appreciate. I'm a very keep it real kind of guy, but I also, there's limits to that, and I certainly don't want to be talking about somebody's personal business if they're not here to talk about it. So that's the deal. But Jen and I are in contact. There's no beef, and as I've told her, the door is open in the future. We just want her to get well. So that's it for today. Good question. I didn't want to pretend, there was a tiny elephant in the room, but with that 1 year, we have to give Jen a lot of credit. Without Jen, status quo would not even be a thing. So I definitely appreciate all her work, and I hope she, I hope everybody, all of us deal with things. So I hope she's dealing with her situation well. So I will be back tomorrow. That's right. I have to call my father. I don't know if he waited for me. He lives on Long Island. I don't know if he waited for me. So I'm probably going out to dinner with my Trump-loving father. So that should be interesting. Maybe I'll record a video with him. I keep trying to get him on air, so you guys could see what I deal with every day. But I haven't been able to get him on yet. So let me allow you guys to say goodnight to Ty. Ty, they want to say goodnight to you. Yeah, that didn't particularly work. So we keep it real. That is Ty Bayless, working overtime, so now sleeping. He hasn't slept in 3 days, so he might sleep until Saturday, and we'll let him. Empanada Mama tonight, that's a good idea. I've been trying to have less cheese because of the lactose problem I've been having, but we'll see. So, thank you for watching. I'll be back tomorrow, 5 o'clock Eastern, and remember, we can only grow as far as you take us. I am not a political candidate. I'm not fundraising for a campaign. I'm fundraising for a media revolution. And you can't cover a campaign without media. You cannot counter the corporate propaganda from the Washington Post, the New York Times, CNN, MSNBC, Politico, Associated Press. You cannot counter corporate propaganda if you don't have the funding to hand the microphone to the people. I think we've shown you. That's what we do. So if you want us out there at Tulsi Gabbard rallies, you want us out there at Bernie rallies, you want us out there talking to their voters, you want us challenging establishment candidates, I'm ready to do it. Just need you. Statuscoup.com/join and GoFundMe. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow. We're going to try to get you a clip from that interview with Tulsi Gabbard. Peace out.